Right, hello guys, you're watching Geek Cinema, and today we're talking about Fear of the Walking Dead Series 7, Episode 1 to 4. First time watching and reacting. Yeah, I don't know. This is a bit of a slow start for me, but also it's got some interesting vibes because obviously from what led from Series 6, them bombs, them nukes, them things went off. The bad guy got killed, but it went off. He kind of got what he wanted in a way, and it's left all our characters separate and splintered off and hiding and surviving in different ways. Victor, as I've always called him, the boatman, um, he's literally built up his own civilization, and he's kind of thinking he's a god of search. He's bigger than his boots, and he's definitely come into the dictator of who can come into his society and who can't, which is interesting in ways. And he has a very vendetta against Morgan, you could say. Now, Morgan and this other woman, um, he's been very close to. Obviously, she's just lost a baby, but they're stuck with another person's baby from where Series 6 left off. That being said, they're having to deal with this baby, and this couple take the baby and they have to try and save it. However, the woman's kind of just like, maybe we should just let them have it, because obviously she's still grieving her loss of her own baby. But Morgan promised, and he sticks with his promises. So he has to take out and try and stop these couple from taking his baby and stuff like that. There's a whole story individually for, you could say, the woman who's looking for her brother, her friend from the wheelchair. There's a whole story on that. There's a whole story about that other guy and this woman who's, I forgot the names of. The older guy's having visions of this woman he could have saved. It turns out eventually that woman was trapped with our bad guy. Literally, he trapped her in the walls, and turned out, which was interesting. And he was going crazy insane, but obviously that closure, that he was trying to look for this woman, as soon as he finds it, it helps him. But it's an individual story yet again, and another individual story. I feel like we've got four episodes in this. The individualness didn't really work for me. I felt like they should have split it and blended it in. So like you have scenes with one character, then you cut to the next, and then you cut to the next. I think that would work so much better than just individual stories, because I'm missing characters. I'm like, oh, when are we going to see Morgan again? Or, oh, when are we going to see this person again? And it's like, well, they're not in this episode, so you're not going to, and it sucks. I feel like it would have been better if they were mixed instead of individual stories, and I think that would have helped it a lot, or at least me. Anyway, Victor in this seems to be the dictator and the baddie. I mean, he's literally on the front cover of the disc, and he's literally on the screens for them. It's a really titan head-to-head with Morgan, and yet again on the disc. It's really showing that this is going to be a challenge for Morgan. This Victor has took certain people of Morgan's friends and embedded them in his group. But if they go outside, it's not his problem, and they're going to be banished from Victor's plans. And he seems to have good potential plans, but I don't know for sure what his definition of good is anymore. And it's interesting because we've been embedding that for like maybe a season, 2 seasons of Victor slowly turning and being corrupted to a different way of thinking, a bad way of thinking. It's interesting where they talk Victor, and I've never really I struggle to give Fear of the Walking Dead praise for how rocky the show is compared to the main show being incredible. You know, but the way they've handled Victor's character, phenomenal. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really liking this head-to-head between him and Morgan. And it's interesting. And yet Victor hasn't killed Morgan. He did try and kill Morgan, but he hasn't done that yet. He could have done that when they had the meet-up of episode 4, but he didn't. So it's interesting to show that the yin and the yang, the vice versa, different head-to-heads, but they're not trying to kill each other yet. And they're just more threatening and stuff like that. So there is some sort of mutual respect, I guess, going on. Because obviously Victor has a grudge to bear, and so Morgan's way isn't the best of ways. My way is. And Morgan has different views of that. But anyway, that being said, episode 4 was definitely the most interesting out of the four, because obviously, one, we just spent a time with this old man literally having visions about this and that, and the other woman trying to keep him calm. Not much to it. It kind of bored me, to be fair. The other episode, what was that? I literally just watched it as well. Episode 1, which one was that? If it's not that memorable, I've literally just watched it, it can't be good, surely. I don't think it really. It just reminded me, oh yeah, the nuke went off, and oh yeah, this is about survival. I think it was Morgan and the woman trying to survive and them having the baby. Literally, that's it. And escaping the couple and barely surviving. That's it, really. There's not much going on. And obviously, with more, with the what I mainly talks about is a woman trying to find her brother, the guy in the wheelchair, and when she thinks they're dead and they go off the cliff. That was all interesting. And they found out this nuke, this bomb, there's a leftover one in the ground, and it could take out all our friends that are hiding. So Morgan's gonna have to help them and get them away from there. But also, it turns out some bad guys that are having their way of living, and they're thinking of using this weapon as a weapon, which will help them in some cause, which will be interesting to see how Morgan can stop that, because surely he does not want, or even Victor, and maybe Morgan and Victor have to come together to stop this group from having a bomb, because obviously they've seen the outcome of that, and they're trying to revive from what they've just had. They're trying to, all our characters are trying to literally just survive from this, because of the ground and the radiation and the consequences of what series 6 did to where they're living has really caused a problem. And obviously, could they even survive under the blast? So we need to take that bomb away from these guys that have took it, otherwise stuff's going to go down. So maybe they might have to join forces to take them out, because we can't afford to do this again. But yeah, it is interesting, it's cool. We've seen all the other characters surviving now and how they survived. So it's more like this is where our characters are at from what has happened. And I think someone put 71 days on a board somewhere, so it's been a while they've been surviving out. But yeah, interesting start, slow start, but still has good elements in it. 5 out of 10 for the first 4 episodes of Series 7. It's an interesting start with slow starts as well. I hope it picks up. I can see the direction now of probably stopping these guys from doing the bomb and the different ways of living, and there might be more problems to come. Also, that woman finds someone who's trying to hunt down Morgan, and that whole thing was interesting as well. And his dog getting bit. The dog died, man. That sucks. But yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions. 5 out of 10 for the first 4 episodes of Series 7 of Fear of the Walking Dead. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Of course, we're continuing the Fear of the Walking Dead for the first time with my reactions and reviews. Of course, we won't just talk about The Walking Dead, of course. We'll do Marvel, Doctor Who, Rick and Morty, Star Wars, Chucky, you name it. Real space to be for a geek like me, so join and subscribe. See you guys in another video soon. Have a nice day.